We had the Green Bay Packers losing in Carolina 29-37. The Panthers remain undefeated. One of three undefeateds. Carolina Panthers, Cincinnati Bengals, New England Patriots, all 8-0. And the Packers lose 2 consecutive games for the first time in many years under Aaron Rodgers. I want to say like 2012 or something like that. It's the last time he's lost back-to-back games. I don't know. It's been a while. Maybe 2009. Who knows? But anyway, Panthers beat the Packers last week. Thank you, Carolina. We had the Tennessee Titans on the road beat the New Orleans Saints 34-28. These New Orleans Saints, just when you think they might have their act together and be getting good, they inexplicably suck again. I want to say Mariota lit them up, possibly. I know Delaney Walker did real good for me in fantasy football. But yeah, so the Saints lose at home to the Tennessee Titans. Inconceivable. We had the Oakland Raiders losing on the road to the Pittsburgh Steelers 38-35. That game came down to the wire. Big Ben got hurt again in that game. He is believed to be out for another 1 to 2 weeks now. We had, as I mentioned, the Vikings beat the Rams in overtime, 21-18. That game should not have went to overtime. Poor game management by both Norv Turner and Mike Zimmerman in the final 2 minutes of that game. That game should have ended 18-15. But brilliant job on the part of Mike Zimmer winning the overtime coin toss to not elect to receive or to kick, but rather to elect which side of the field he was defending so that he could have the wind at his back, where over like 75% of all the points in the game were scored, and it was having a huge impact. And major kudos to Coach Zimmer for being smart enough to realize that the most important thing we can win here in this overtime coin flip is not first possession. It's, field direction. So again, kudos. That was brilliant. Way to make up for it. Then we had the Patriots at home easily beating the Redskins 27-10. Jaguars on the road hung in there with the Jets but lost 28-23. Falcons on the road lose to the 49ers 17-16. Again, like this is a team that's coming up on the Vikings schedule in a couple weeks that we're worried about. Falcons are in complete disarray at the moment. And they need to get it figured out faster. They're going to be out of playoff contention here within 2-3 weeks. We had the Giants on the road beating the Buccaneers 32-18. We had the Broncos losing their first game of the year in Indianapolis to the Colts 27-24. So the fire Chuck Pagano talk will subside at least for one more week. However, Andrew Luck got injured in that game. He is going to be out 2 to 6 weeks. Lucky for them, they're in the AFC South, so they'll probably survive. But have to keep an eye on it. Matt Hasselbeck has been doing a good job in place of Andrew Luck earlier in this season. And then the Sunday night game, we had the Eagles on the road beat the Dallas Cowboys 33-27. And then we had, in Monday night, we had the Chicago Bears come back and beat the San Diego Chargers in San Diego 22-19. So that was last week's games. Let's pick this week's games and then give you my mid-season report card before we turn everything else on the show here into a quickie for this week. All right, but so this Thursday, we got the Jets are a 2.5-point favorite at home against the Buffalo Bills. Bills have T-Mobile back healthy at quarterback. They promoted Ike Enekampala, or however you say it, the guy who broke Geno Smith's jaw in the preseason. Well, he plays for the Bills now, or at least he gets a paycheck from the Bills every week. And Rex Ryan named him one of the team captains for this Thursday's game against the Jets. Gotta love that. Super classy. It's funny and entertaining, if nothing else. I think it's great. Little mind games, nothing wrong with that. But anyway, the Jets Not sure what their quarterback situation is going to be, how healthy Ryan Fitzpatrick is or isn't, what Geno Smith can or can't do. Should he be in there? He might be injured at the moment still, too. I'm not sure. But less question marks surrounding the Bills at the moment, and they are trending. They're getting healthier and trending in the right direction. Sammy Watkins back, had a huge week last week. LaShawn McCoy back, had a huge week last week. So I'm going with the Bills, the 2.5-point underdog, to not only, they're going to win that game as well as cover, as well as being a 2.5-point underdog. I like them a lot. Then we've got the Bears are a 7.5-point underdog at the St. Louis Rams. The Bears' offense in its entirety is actually better than most people think it is. And the Bears' defense is actually not quite as bad as most people think it is. St. Louis Rams, their defense might be a tiny bit overrated. Actually, we'll find out here in a moment. But I don't know. I don't know. The Rams are a 7.5-point favorite to win this game. Now, I definitely pick the Bears confidently if you're playing the spread. Give me 7.5 points. Bears can still lose, but they got to lose by 7 points or less. Yeah, I'm taking the Bears on that. As far as the winning and losing goes, I would pick the Rams in a coin flip, mainly because they're the home team. But don't underestimate the Bears in this game or for the next several weeks. Then we've got the Cleveland Browns, a 4.5-point underdog on the road in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has Le'Veon Bell out for the year. Backup running back D'Angelo Williams has done extremely well. However, they are down to third-string quarterback now, Landry Jones, with Big Ben being out. If Big Ben can find a way to play, Pittsburgh wins. Either way, I'm picking Cleveland as of right now. Give me 4.5 points, and I'll even pick Cleveland to win the game right now. Yeah, I'm saying it. Cleveland's going to beat Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh this week. Unless Big Ben can, pull a Willis Reed and get out there and play hurt. All right, then in a total, one of your garbage matches for the week, we got the Cowboys on the road at Tampa Bay. Buccaneers are a 1.5-point favorite. Boy, that's a total coin flip. I have no freaking idea what is going to happen in that game. Let's go Tampa Bay at home, winning, and covering the 1.5-point spread. Yeah, let's do that. Then we got the Detroit Lions, an 11.5-point underdog in Lambeau Field at the frozen tundra, where they will be destroyed by the Green Bay Packers by more than 11.5 points. So there you go. You got the Packers covering the 11.5-point spread and winning the game. Then we've got the Panthers on the road in Tennessee. Tennessee Titans are a 4.5-point underdog at home. I want to say Mariota's out and Zach Mettenberger's out, and they might be looking to third-string quarterback. Don't quote me on that, but either way, Titans are not good. Carolina's undefeated. Gotta go with Carolina. It's only a 4.5-point spread, covering the spread and winning the game. Then we've got the Eagles, a 6.5-point favorite at home against the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins cooling down now after their hot start under the new interim coach. I do believe Philadelphia will win this game at home. I don't want them to. I don't like the Philadelphia Chip Kellys at all. When Chip Kelly leaves, I will like the Philadelphia Eagles again, but they're not the Eagles, they're the Chip Kellys. And that's why I don't like them. So I will pick the Miami Dolphins again if you're giving me the 6.5-point spread. However, straight up who wins, who loses, smart man's money is on Philly at home. Then we've got the super inconsistent Saints on the road against the Redskins. The Saints are a 0.5-point favorite, so this is a pick'em game. Coin flip always goes with the home team, so we're going to take the Redskins. Then we've got the Jaguars on the road at the Ravens. Ravens are a 5.5-point favorite to win this game based off of what? Jaguars covering that spread, and Jaguars may be winning that game. Vikings at Raiders. Raiders are a 2.5-point favorite. That's ridiculous. Vikings should be the 2.5-point favorite. Vikings win the game and cover the spread. Kansas City Chiefs on the road in Denver, a 6.5-point underdog. Kansas City's been playing better last couple weeks. Actually, since Jamal Charles went out, ironically enough. However, I think the Broncos, coming off a bye at home, They're going to play extremely well and will win by a full touchdown or more. So I got the Broncos winning and covering the spread. Then we've got the New England Patriots on the road at the New York Giants. Giants are a 7.5-point underdog. This should be an extremely entertaining, great game to watch. Could turn out either way, honestly, but I mean, seriously, you got to pick the Patriots to win. As far as the spread goes, coin flip 50-50, your choice. I'm still going to go with the Patriots to do it by more than 7.5 points. Finally, we've got our Sunday night game, which is the Arizona Cardinals on the road against the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle Seahawks are inexplicably a 3.5-point favorite there. Cardinals definitely cover that spread as well as win that game. And then finally, in your awful snoozer of a Monday night football game, we've got the Houston Texans on the road, 10.5-point underdog against the undefeated Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati Bengals will destroy them by more than 10.5 points. So let's get to the big football moment you've all been so anxiously and patiently waiting for. Thank you. My Scotty Ball Balls Deep NFL midterm rankings and report cards. Let's start with some of the team rankings that I did. I did who's got the best offense in the NFL, who's got the best defense in the NFL. Now, to preface all of this, I looked at every relevant statistic up until this point in the NFL season for all of these rankings, combined them all, gave them, gave them each their own appropriate value and priority based off of how I see it. So you can trust me, these are unique rankings and these are accurate rankings, okay? But so, here we have, starting out with the best offenses in the NFL. The best offense in the NFL thus far has been the New England Patriots, followed, ironically enough, by the Arizona Cardinals, and then the New Orleans Saints, which it hasn't resulted into a lot of wins, and then the New York Giants in fourth. They've had a phenomenal offense, but again, not as many wins as you should. Then the Bengals offense rounding out the top five, followed by the Falcons, Panthers, ironically enough as well, the Raiders offense, which the Vikings will be facing. I have them as the 8th best offense in football up until this point in the season. The Steelers, throughout all their injuries, have somehow maintained a top 10 offense, barely. I have them at 9. And then the New York Jets, of all people. So a lot of interesting, unexpected names on this list. Teams that aren't winning games, teams that don't necessarily have a lot of perceived talent on offense, and teams that are dealing with injuries. But those are your 10 best offenses through the halfway point in the NFL thus far. And you can take that to the bank. Now, on the flip side, your 10 worst offenses in order of most worst to least worst. The absolute worst offense in all of football this year has been the San Francisco 49ers, followed by the Chicago Bears. Mostly from a point-scoring standpoint, not particularly so much from a moving the ball standpoint. Then the Detroit Lions have been the 3rd worst offense. The Redskins have the 4th worst offense. The Tennessee Titans have the 5th worst offense this year. Rams are 6th worst. Dallas would be the 7th worst, debatably. The Vikings would be the 7th worst offense in all of football thus far this season. I hate to admit. Followed by Dallas at 7. Then, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Vikes would be 7. Dallas is 8. Houston's 9. Cleveland's 10. Denver, one of the 10 or 11 worst offenses in all of football this year. The Cowboys with their injury issues, the Lions with just their lack of an identity and their issues on offensive line. Houston with their quarterback and running back health issues there. Cleveland with, they're Cleveland. But then Denver, surprisingly enough, one of the 10 worst offenses in football this year. So, sorry the Vikes are on there, but they are cumulatively one of the 10 worst offenses thus far this season because they're like the 3rd worst passing offense in all of football. But more on that in just a minute. Let's get to the other team category. That would be team defense. The Denver Broncos have the best defense in all football through 9 weeks in the season, followed by the Arizona Cardinals having the 2nd best offense in all football and the 2nd best defense in all football. Watch out for the Cardinals, according to this. Seattle Seahawks, surprisingly enough, the third best defense in all of football. Vikings, fourth best defense in all of football through the first half of the season.